Hi everyone, L Hackney here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I get to speak to everyone in the book world, whether they be authors, illustrators, podcasters, or industry professional. And today's guest, I'm really excited to talk about because she's a bit of a mixed bag, and I like how she's got her fingers in lots of different pies. She's an author, an editor, a book reviewer, a speaker, and a disability advocate. Let's welcome Penny McCown.
Thanks, Lauren. It's great to be here with you.
It's so I don't even know where to start with this interview. I'm so sorry. I mean, that is a long list. That is a long list. Let's start. How did it all start for you? What was the beginning for you?
Oh gosh, I've actually been thinking about this the last few days as well. Like, how would I describe myself? And it's really strange. Like, so my parents were very much into stories. So my
Yeah.
mum read to me every night. She, really got me involved in books, even though I was visually impaired and legally blind as a child. I was always encouraged to, try and read and look at books and stuff. And my dad's always been a teller of stories and jokes. So, I fell into it really. Um, but yeah, and then I started to write in high school. So in year eight, one of my stories was published in the newsletter, this weekly newsletter. And I think and I got like a 9 out of 10 for it, back in the day. And I thought, wow, maybe this is something that I should kind of continue to do because I loved stories. And that's really where it started. But I didn't start getting really serious till 2020, that pandemic we had,
Wow.
when I kind of had to stop teaching. And then I thought, right, what else do I want to, what else can I do? And that's when I really followed this path of self-publishing.
Yeah. Wow. And it's quite a journey. And it's funny how this started for you at such a young age.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
stories that you like to tell when you were younger, are they similar to what you like to tell now?
Oh gosh. I think so in a way. Actually, that's amazing because I am very much into speculative fiction, so fantasy. I love watching sci-fi, but I can't write sci-fi. I think that's just too technical for my brain. But I love fantasy. And as a kid, you're always imagining, fairies in the garden and all that kind of thing. And I think in a way it is I'm kind of reverting back, but I'm also thinking like with the disability advocacy about what stories do I wish were around when I was a kid to help me deal with my disabilities or medical conditions that weren't there that I want to write so they're there for the next generation.
Yeah. No,
So,
and that's funny how it all kind of ends up in its own organic way. But
mm.
you do have an adult book out about your disability side. So why don't you tell us all about that?
Yeah. Okay, well, I actually have it with me, although I'm wearing grey
All right.
but anyway, so this is it. It's an anthology that was published, well, through Westwards in Western Sydney. It's called Living with Illness and Disability, Poised on the Point of Pain. So there's a foot there. But there's I think about 16 stories from teachers and students at Macquarie University. And they're very diverse. Like we've got people who have gone through kidney transplants, we've got people who have, dealt with parents who have been ill, we've had people with endometriosis and various things. And then there's me, who wrote about having a defibrillator and being born with congenital heart disease. Um, we were actually talking about this a couple of weeks ago at the Newcastle Writers Festival where we launched the book.
Mm, mm.
And one of the girls, Elizabeth, said, I think this is the first time we've all spoken publicly. And it was. So for me, it was really, I think felt like it was the right time. But I've been hesitant up to a couple of years ago, thinking, do I really want to reveal this about myself, about, my disabilities and stuff like the vision impairment people could see, so it's obvious. But the other things, and it's really um, interesting that we kind of all felt the same way, that it's the first time. But yeah, so that's my little story. It's not self-published, but it is an honor to be in a book like that, and it is available through the Westwords website and various online stores, I believe.
So this is why I'm very excited to talk to you, Penny, because
Mm,
self-publishing, you've got quite a few books. You know the ropes
yeah,
there. You've done marketing, you've done book launches, you know all about distribution, ISBNs, the whole thing. This is your chance to be in an anthology, which is different
yeah.
different to say a novelist who did a single story with a traditional publisher. You're
Mm.
collaborating. There's lots of people involved here. So how was the process?
I'm going to be brutally honest and say irritating.
Yes, I love honesty.
Simply because I've done 4 picture books and I'm so used to having complete control. And with this one, I didn't. Like, we were basically sent our story, we did a little corrections, and I thought we were going to get a chance to do another read through, and we didn't. And that really bugged me because there was a line in there I wanted to change. So I didn't get a chance to do that. So I was a bit, annoyed. Um, but it was also the fact that there wasn't, I thought there'd be more collaboration where we get a bit more of a say. So this is another thing, and I really don't like, criticizing Westwords too much because I think they're absolutely wonderful to do this. They got the funding, and really worked really hard on this. But my big irritation is the font and the color. So it's for people who, like me, can't read very well, it's not very accessible. So that's my little irritation. That, yeah, I just wish that we'd had the opportunity to say something about that. But hopefully, if they do another print run, it'll be a bit better, I might. But
Well,
yeah,
especially when the author has a vision impairment, you think that would be a consideration. I mean,
yeah.
I just thought it might just be one of those things. Did you get
Mm,
many chances? So the back and forths, like, so I'm guessing you submitted, they went, oh, we
yeah.
like this. And then was it just nothing out, like no other back and forths from there?
Well, it was kind of strange because, well, so I don't know when the first call out was. It was 2 master students and staff. I don't know when they did the initial call out, but I was approached, I think maybe a year after they started, by my lecturer. And she emailed me and said, oh, we're working on this writing project. Would you be interested? So I don't know what the initial, you know, process was because I wasn't involved. I was a late comer. So I said, yes, sure. I started working on my autobiography kind of story, working out what I wanted to work on, where I wanted to focus. And I ended up with about 7,000 words plus. And I was like, okay, this seems a little long. So I emailed Michelle and said, what's the word count? She said, oh, about 3 to 5,000 words. I'm like, oh, right. So I was madly cutting. And in the end, I sent it to her and it was just, chronological. And she did the most amazing job with it. She asked me key questions, what I wanted, focus on, just that. And she just cut and pasted my words into what it is now. So, yes, she restructured it, but it is my words. And it's turned into a really lovely, poignant essay that when I read it all the way through, I still cry. Like, it is very emotional. It's one of those heart-wrenching stories about my life that, I'm proud that it's out there, but it's still really emotional. So if I ever get asked to read it for a recording or anything, I'm going to have to practice and practice and practice so I don't cry. Um, but yeah, so after that, then Michelle sent it all off to Westwards, and we then they put it into the book, and we just got an email and a PDF of our story of the pages. And I remember thinking at the time, this scene doesn't seem really great, but I don't know what it's going to look like on the page because the PDF you can make bigger and you don't know whether this color on the screen is different to what it is on paper. So I didn't say anything. Um, but I thought we might have got another opportunity and we didn't. But I think it was more when I checked with Michelle about it, she said it was more the fact that they wanted to get it printed and out. So we didn't get that last opportunity.
Yeah, to
Jonathan, she
finally.
agreed. She wanted to change things too.
Yeah. Well, it's all a learning curve, isn't it? I keep hearing with
Mm,
every book that's published, it feels like you're starting again. So it's kind of like,
yeah.
it's everything's a learning curve. And so from here, you did mention telling your story publicly and talking about it does still make you get emotional. How do
Yeah.
you go with public speaking? Because you recently had your first public speaking gig.
I know, and I was so glad I wasn't on my own. So there was our lecturer and then seven of us that contributed to the book. We were at the Newcastle Writers Festival, I think a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. Um, and that was fantastic. I'd never been to the festival up there ever. And they were just fantastic. They had somebody assigned to our group that could assist us with anything we had, and they basically because I had my cane, not that I really needed it because it was all flat, but it was just handy to have. They were asking me, "Can you sit on the big chair, or do you like the higher chair, or do you want the lower chair?" Like they were checking, everything. So the hats off to the organizers. They're absolutely brilliant. The actual speaker, it was kind of hard because I was last. And I don't know whether it's better to be last or first. I never like going first, but it was just, yeah. So I was the last one to speak, but we planned it really well. So we all knew what we were going to say. Um, so we all, we were introduced. They asked us a question pre-planned. We answered it pre-planned. And then we read some of our work. Now, that part of it was hard for me because the lighting wasn't good and because of the print. It took longer and it frustrated me so much because I had the audience. They were really supportive, which was lovely. And then we opened it up to questions, and the questions we got were fantastic. I think I was the first one to jump in, and I went for it. I just enjoyed it, and I think for me, I love talking about what I've been through to a point, and I love, the advocacy side of it. So yeah, I think it's for me, it's much easier to just as if you're just having a chat like we are,
Yeah.
rather than writing. But yeah, no, it was fantastic, and I came away feeling like, yes, this is what I want to do.
This is what you're meant to do. I feel it
Yeah,
too. I feel it when I see your journey as well, because for someone to sort of go down the path of this is something I really want to do, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to publish 4 books that I really want the world to see the way I want to
mm,
see it. And then to collaborate and now to be on a panel. Anyone watching this video who is a little bit inspired, who may have a disability or not,
mm.
what advice would you give
Oh
them about
God.
starting?
Um, I think maybe start by just writing your story, getting comfortable with how much you want to reveal.
Mm.
Because that was, I think, the hardest thing for me because like, okay, I'm not followed by a great number of people on socials, but I see other people who are and how they've been criticized and trolled, and I'm like, I don't want to go there. And that I think put me off for a long time. But yeah, slowly I started because I started as mention the vision. And yeah, it just became right. And I think the anthology came at the right time because I was thinking about it and thinking about disability advocacy and what I wanted to do. But I was scared. I was like, how do I do this? So it's actually become a really great avenue because I've now got the book.
And
And
now, so with the
yeah,
disability advocacy and wanting to move forward, so to tell people, right, it's okay to tell your story, tell it the way you feel comfortable, reveal as
yeah.
much as you want to reveal. So just being an advocate, what's your work in the community that way? Do you prefer to be booked for Zooms for schools, or do you prefer to be on panels? Like, how do you like to work your advocacy work?
Um, I haven't thought a lot about it. I'm working on my website at the moment to update that with it, and so people can contact me and book me for, I actually like going into schools. I think with this topic though, I probably wouldn't do young primary. I think it's better to do older, grades, 5 and up, and even adult organizations if desired. Because then you can be a little bit more open and you don't have to worry about upsetting any little minds. Um, but yeah, at the moment, that's what I do. I'm very ha open to being on more panels, and speaking at festivals or whatever the organization is. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's just
So
where I'm at the moment.
So anyone watching this video who does want an author, who knows how to hustle, who's done self-publishing, who's done editing, who's been part of an anthology, who does speaking, who does advocacy work, I, if you would like her either in your classroom through Zoom or classroom in person for late primary, high school, library groups, book clubs, panels,
Mm,
how do they contact you, Penny?
Okay, so they can contact me. Well, I'm on Facebook and Insta, and there's a link tree link in there. Best place is through my website, so that's just pennymccown.com.au. Yeah, or through like a DM as well.
So, moving forward, let's get that crystal ball out. If you see yourself in 5 years' time,
Oh
what would you
gosh.
like that to look like?
Oh, Lauren, what are you doing to me?
I tell
Um,
you.
um, I have got, I actually did a business plan a couple of weeks ago to kind of work out what I'm doing with this career of mine. And I wrote out all the list of books that I'm currently working on and the list of the ideas that are up here. And I've probably got about 12. So I will still be writing and publishing. I'm hoping to get into going into schools for author visits or disability advocacy talks, which I'm calling my hero talks. Um, so there's a lot of projects there. The funding is a little bit of an issue, but the plan's there. So yeah, so that's, I think, in 5 years' time, hopefully just encouraging more people to speak up and don't be afraid to, don't hide their disabilities if they don't want to, but don't feel that they hope. This is making sense. Um, just hopefully to inspire them to speak up and not be afraid to speak up is really it. And the other way I'm working on this is that I'm hoping to also do large print versions of my books as well. So yeah, that I'm working on that at the moment.
Well, Penny, I must say your journey has evolved into something that's quite spectacular. And I'm sure when you first started this in COVID times, lockdown, just to know where you were 5 years ago to now, I bet you probably think, wow, it's unfolded in a way that I never thought was
Mm.
possible. So to think what your next 5 years holds is actually really exciting. So anyone watching this video today, please support Penny, support her on the socials, buy her books, review her books, book her for an author visit, and just make sure you support her best we can, because we do want to see more work from Penny. And I think in this time, it's so important to support the creatives and the disability advocates, because Penny does donate a lot of her time volunteering and putting her own time out there to help others. So make sure you support Penny best you can, because we want to see more from her in the future. Thank you so much, Penny, for today. I've loved speaking with you.
Thank you, Lauren. I really enjoyed it.